And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Women of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today, I was unsure if I was gonna make this video, this reaction. I haven't watched this video before, but from what I believe, it's gonna be quite strong material, so discretionary viewers advised. Is that what it's called? Because there's both swearing and hurtful information in this video. And why would I want to share that with women when we want your spirits to be delicate and wonderful, feminine, and not for you to get pissed or burdened from the information that I'm giving you? Why am I burdening you even more? Okay? The reason why is because I want you to understand what is happening on the other side. I want you to understand what men are talking about these days, okay? And it's not pretty, okay? We've developed this kind of society where men are beginning to hate women. We've developed a society where men have begun to blame women. They've always blamed women for centuries, for millennia, but now, I guess there was some kind of a cozy time in the 1800s until the 1950s, 60s, maybe cozy time. Men were horrible towards women. They didn't care about what they said. They didn't really take things into consideration, or at least, there was a lot of problems, right? But there were also men who were very respectful of women. Men were gentlemen. You had a lot of good stuff as well. And that still exists today. I mean, in many ways, my channel and the people who support this movement that we're part of here with the Men of High Value channel, the Women of High Value channel, they support that goodness, However, there are many men that don't. And let's just react to the video. I can't really say anything else, than what we're gonna try and hear. Okay, good luck. And yeah, I'm on your side, just so you know.
Y'all wondering when I was gonna do another Classic View video on YouTube, huh? But see, that's just the thing. Always wondering. Always wondering. Alright guys, so today I'm here to talk about why you should expect to hear more women saying I'm celibate or withholding.
By the way, do you notice his shirt? Authenticity and integrity. Okay, keep that in mind.
6 from you, alright? Because you're hearing it more and more now, and I'm getting this question more and more, and when I'm doing a live cast, I'm getting more and more guys asking me about this I'm celibate bullshit. And so I'm here to let guys know why they're hearing that. So here's the thing, guys. Everything in life has a fucking cause and effect, alright? Can't one thing happen and then no effect come from it, alright? So feminism has an effect, alright? So women are feeling empowered and all this and that other, hoorah, good for them.
Hold on one second. Must be explained. Feminism was not a cause, okay? That's not the cause that caused the effect. That was the effect of a cause. Okay? Feminism is an effect of a cause. Something that has happened to women that caused them to be angry, that caused them to feel inferior, that caused them to have issues with men today. Right? There's many aspects to feminism that are not healthy, but there's also a very important aspect of feminism, and that is that men should not treat women badly. Why? Do you understand what I mean? That's ridiculous. Allow women to do whatever they want without trying to control them, without trying to, you know what I mean? Because that's ridiculous. They just want freedom. They just want liberation because they're designed to have freedom just like men are. But they're designed to have freedom in a way that there's a man who actually leads them, but leads them the right way so that they want to follow. Does that make sense? You want to follow if you find a good man. All women would want to follow a good man. And when I say good man, I mean a man who knows what he's doing, okay? A man who has power. Because there's tons of good men that have no idea about female nature, completely ignorant on the subject, and they're the ones who get screwed over. because of their ignorance, not because the woman did something, okay? But let me talk about that another time. Right now we're talking about feminism being an effect, a result of something that has happened. And in many aspects, it's patriarchy, okay? It's the way that men have been treating women for all those millennia. And that has basically now blown up in our face. Okay, we've got feminism now, and men continue to blame women. And femininity blames. Okay? So it's like everyone's expected to be masculine, but because everyone's expected to be masculine, meaning not caring, right? Everyone's feminine as well. So it's like we got this like warped concoction of in society today where men are supposedly masculine, which they're not. They're feminine because femininity blames. Okay, very, very important to remember this. His name is Alpha Male Strategies, but literally he's talking as if he's, you know, an alpha female strategy, because it's ridiculous what he's talking about, because he's blaming the entire video, and I haven't even freaking watched it. Okay, I just know his channel. So blaming is feminine. Okay, but it's a good thing for women that they blame. Why? Because blaming actually allows you to follow a leader. When you blame someone, you're asking them to change. That's a good thing. We want men to change, so we want women to blame. If men don't change, nothing is gonna change. If men begin to think that women are going to change the situation and that the relationship is gonna be better if she just improves, that's a recipe for disaster, because she can't change consistently. You can't change consistently over a long period of time, okay? Eventually it's gonna snap, because you're not designed to change something when the man is not changing himself. Does that make sense? And women care more than men do, which means that they will change a lot faster if they could, but they can't because they're inconsistent, okay? Not your fault. This is kind of how women are designed, you know, don't blame the messenger. But I'm just trying to explain to you guys that he's blaming feminism, and he's saying that that's the cause, and then that's going to create an effect. Well, he's somewhat right. I mean, everything that happens in society is a cause in and of itself. But, okay, there's a preliminary aspect to this, and it's men having screwed women over that caused feminism. Just want to put that in there, minute one.
But here's the thing, what's wrong with feminism? It's making more and more women not want to submit to a man. All right, it's making more and more women masculine. Well, what's the issue with that?
Making more and more women not want to submit to a man. Which woman in her right mind would submit to a guy who blames her? Which woman in her right mind... No offense to those of you who do submit to a man, you know, who is blaming her and who is causing issues in her life and all of these problems that men create, okay? Like, but do you get what I'm saying here? Like, let's just keep watching.
Well, men are obviously not wanting to get in relationships and marry these bitches. Alright? That's the bottom fucking line. So when you get a girl, most guys look at women now as just something to have sex with. They're not fun to be around with outside the bedroom. You're gonna see that more and more and more. Alright? So
you hear that? So he's basically talking about guys just wanting to have sex, and that's kind of what it's become to, because women are masculine, meaning the more masculine they are, and you got to remember the definitions that we have on this channel of what femininity and masculine is. Masculine means being burdened. Okay, what does that mean? Burdened by trying to be disciplined, by trying to change, by, you know, caring about this, you know, things that really are not in her sphere of influence. Okay, just being burdened in general. That's masculine for women. Femininity means that she's actually taken care of. She's provided for, she's protected, and she's carefree. She can enjoy her life, and life is wonderful and amazing, and she's wondering why people are depressed and sad. And she's like, that's weird. But that burdens her, right? You know, but for her, she's like, you know, when she's not around that, and when it's out of sight, out of mind, she's actually having a blast and everything's wonderful. That's femininity, that's unburdened. Well, women are masculine these days, and they're burdened. Who burdened them? Did they just naturally appear as babies burdened? Did they come out of the womb, oh, you're burdened? You're masculine as a child. What are we going to do with this child? She's burdened and masculine. No, it didn't happen like that. When a child is born, they're growing up, actually very often, with parents that love that child. Actually, you know, it's not most kids grow up as orphans. Yeah, a lot of kids grow up with the single mother, okay, but majority of daughters have a mother and a father that's somewhat in their lives, right? Which means that when the child is growing up, you'll see that children are extremely feminine, like girls. They're feminine. Yes, there's many that are, you know, boyish, and you know, kind of being raised to choose whatever their burden is telling, like their hormones are basically preparing them to become a man. Okay, that's what happens when they're burdened. So you burden children, then the girls are gonna move towards masculinity because their bodies have to do that, because it's about survival and it's about, you know, becoming a man in many ways. While men, you know, they're burdened, you know, when they're feminine as well in their childhood, and they're forced and burdened, like, to be masculine too early, which causes them to not desire masculinity when they're older. Teenage years, you know, in their 20s, they never want to grow up because they never had a childhood, right? So you end up having this crazy warped world of men being feminine and then you got girls being masculine, and we've got this like, what am I trying to say here? He's saying that women are masculine, and I'm answering, why are they masculine? Why are they burdened? It's because the moment they became teenagers, they mingled with boys in school, they get boyfriends from the age of 12, you know, maybe even 10, oh, you want to be my girlfriend, you want to be a girlfriend, whatever. And then they become 12 years old and they maybe have their first kiss, and then they're 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever. Suddenly they're becoming sexually interested, okay? And they're mingling with boys every day. They're mingling with the captain of the football team and the captain of this and the team sport, whatever, okay? And then eventually that leads somewhere, because women are sexual creatures. And men, when they're feminine, are also sexual creatures, okay? Now, masculine men, of course, they desire sex as well, but they can control their sexual desires because they think big, okay? And when they think big, they want a family in the future. They want kids in the future. They want to create multi-million-dollar businesses. That's masculinity. Femininity is like, I want to get laid right now. Oh, I need to ejaculate. That's feminine, okay? Because that's kind of how women are when they don't get laid, you know, after they have gotten laid. Does that make sense? Hope it makes sense. Anyway, the point I'm saying is, the reason they're burdened is because men screwed women over. They initiated sexual relationships with them that caused women to now need it more, and they want it more. And because they're burdened, they need more spikes in their life. If they're feminine, their reward dopamine systems, okay, their dopamine receptors in their brains would actually function optimally. Just in the same way when men are masculine, meaning men don't ejaculate, okay, that's masculinity. When they don't do that, their dopamine receptors actually function, so they don't need stimulants. They don't need alcohol. They don't need cigarettes. They don't need all of the crap that the world is feeding them, okay? When a woman is feminine, she actually has optimally functioning dopamine receptors because she's following nature. The moment she actually becomes masculine, she now has to destroy her dopamine receptors. What is the dopamine receptor? It's basically your happiness potential in your brain. It's what basically funnels happy emotions to your body. And you're bubbly and excited about life, etc., etc. Yeah, when was the last time you had that as a woman? Hopefully, you know, not too long ago. But the problem is today, most of you guys are burdened. Not your fault. But this is what's happening.
With this happening, what's happening is women are starting to have to bargain with their sex. Alright? Since they can't bargain. See, listen, guys. When you meet a feminine woman and she cook for you,
women have always used sex as a bargaining tool with the man that they don't trust. They want to make sure that they can trust this guy, but it's not necessarily about like, oh, is this guy a nice guy? No, it's the trust of does he have power? Does he have confidence? And there's a lot of fake confidence out there and fake power, and women feel that the guy has power, but he only has more power than her. That's not power. So it's basically in the woman's brain, she makes up this fantasy that I actually trust this guy because he has power and confidence, and she feels something for him. Okay, women actually don't think, when they're feminine especially, but also in all relationships, really. In a relationship that they actually enjoy and they like the guy, They don't think rationally. They're not designed to think rationally. You're not designed to think rationally in relationships. You're designed to what? Follow your heart, right? Okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a horrible thing if you're following your heart to be with guys that screw you over and dispense of you eventually. So following your heart, all those songs and all those lyrics and all those emotions that you've had throughout your life and relationship advice of you should just follow your heart, they don't really work that well in the real world because men screw you over. Meaning your heart betrayed you. You thought that the truth, okay, was that you can trust this guy. And then your heart told you that you could. Because of the way that you were attracted to him, the way that you're designed and programmed. And that guy screws you over and now you're left with the heartache. So basically your heart, betrayed yourself or betrayed itself. Oh, is this a positive video? It sounds very negative, but I just kind of want to help you guys to see what's happening in the world and how to protect yourself from it. Okay, and there are many things that you can do to prevent issues from burdening you more. Does that make sense? Like, this channel will assist you to understand what masculinity is, what femininity is, and how to get pure bliss, joy, and happiness long term. Okay? And that's what this channel is for. So anyway, he's going to talk about feminine women here. Let's hear what he has to say. Why am I wasting time with this guy again? I want you guys to know what's going on out there, what men talk about, and let's start blaming them, shall we?
Since they can't bargain. See, listen, guys. When you meet a feminine woman and she cook for you and she give you a good back massage and she give you a good blowjob and all this and other, and she has no problem submitting to you, man, she don't got to beg you for a relationship. All right? A guy happily get in a relationship with a girl like that.
Do you hear what you're hearing here? Oh my gosh. Why would you submit to a guy like this? Like, or to a guy that, like, submission needs to be earned. I believe in submission. I believe in women actually getting massive amounts of benefits from submitting to a high value man. A man of high value. But I'm completely against, 110% against submitting to a guy who doesn't treat his woman right, or who looks at her from if she doesn't do this, then I'm going to leave her. Okay? There's two aspects, conditional love and unconditional love. This one's going to be interesting. Before a man gets you, meaning commits to you long term, he's going to have conditional love. What does that mean? Well, you're not his. Okay? You don't belong to him. Are you going to belong to him eventually? Well, if he's committed to you for life, you're going to own him and he's going to own you. Okay? That's good. Fantastic. But he doesn't own you yet if he hasn't committed to you for life, which means his love is conditional. And that's okay. Which means that you in many ways have to do things in order for you to earn his long-term commitment. Those are not having sex with him before that long-term commitment. Remember, that's your biggest bargaining chip, and you need to hold on to it as long as frickin' possible. It's your biggest bargaining chip. Do not give it away without a lifelong commitment. I'm serious about this. I'm doing this, saying this to protect you and your emotions and your heart. Okay? What are the things that you need to do for a guy? You need to just be prepared to be the kind of woman that will be amazing throughout his lifetime. Okay? And that's something that is easy to do when you're feminine and unburdened, but very difficult to do when you're burdened. Because you're a now creature and you don't have the man yet, but you got to prepare for him, and even though he's not here in front of you and you don't know who he is. Does that make sense? So, but that's what you got to do in today's world, where fathers don't give a rat about your situation as your, as his daughter. Of, go date. Go find a guy in your high school. I'm sure it'll work out okay. Men are freaking ignorant. They actually knew more 200 years ago, 70 years ago. In the 50s and 60s, would a father give his daughter over to a guy for a date without him knowing who this dude is? What has happened to men or fathers in terms of protecting their daughters these days? It's ridiculous. Men are becoming girls and women are becoming men. But that was men's fault. Anyway. Just kind of explaining to you guys this aspect. It's critical. This is important stuff. And I hope that you're getting something from this video. Sometimes I lose my train of thought. Doesn't matter. Let's keep going.
Alright? But when you get one of these G.I. Joe bitches who fucking got a big mouth, want to run every goddamn thing, you suggest one spot and she want to suggest another spot, all this other bullshit, she just can't submit to a man, and all this other bullshit, women empowerment and all this other bullshit. Well, obviously ain't guys gonna be beating down her fucking door to get in a relationship. Alright? So she have to negotiate with her sex. It's, essentially, guys, you're negotiating with terrorists. Alright? All they got is their sex. So this is the bottom line, guys.
You see how important that bargaining chip is? Yeah. And it's not your fault, but very often women give it up early on in the relationship. Real early on. Like first date type thing if they really need it. The aspect is that you actually need it a lot. I mean, men need it more than you, but those are not men. The guys that need to sleep with you on the first date and they want to sleep with you on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 18th date, whatever, okay? Any of those guys are girls in many ways. They're feminine because they want to get laid. Now, they're now creatures. Why? Because of their hyposexuality that comes from their lack of semen retention. If you don't know what semen retention is, go over to my Men of High Value channel, check it out, understand what we're building up the foundation of happiness for guys and the foundation of masculinity, really. It's to not ejaculate, because you got to understand men's reproductive cycle. I made a video just a week ago about men's reproductive cycle. I put up a nice PowerPoint that you can check out. Okay, and on men's reproductive cycles, it's important for you to understand this, because men have 10 to 12 times more testosterone than you, meaning they want sex a lot, okay? But that's only because they're ejaculating, meaning they're actually in many ways losing their testosterone. And in order for them to get that testosterone back, they need to chase, women and get more sex, because that gives them more spike and more competition, more like fierceness, and I feel like a man, confidence, whatever, which women then are feeding them. But then over time, because of his ejaculations over a continual time frame, and he sleeps around with women 2 or 3 times a week or once a week or whatever it is, eventually he loses his drive. He loses his momentum. He loses his erections. He loses everything. He loses his power. Okay, this is what happens when guys, enter into their late 30s and 40s and they get broken down by marriage because it's really hard. It's really difficult. They don't understand female nature, and so there's no hope anymore. And they lose themselves because they used to be fired up. Anyway, that's just men for you. But it's your most important bargaining chip, meaning you shouldn't give it up before you've got lifelong commitment. You also have to remember that men value something that has not been given to others extremely high. And that's also very blunt, because I know most of you guys are not virgins who watch my channel, right? If you're 18 years old and you're still a virgin as a woman, it's like, wow, like applause. And that must be because of a protecting father. Literally. Like, you're blessed. You're lucky if you're still a virgin. Fantastic. Keep it. Okay? Because that's one of the biggest bargaining chips. And the less your partner count, the higher value the man. Which leads me to want to talk more about celibacy. I mean, the reason why I clicked on this video is because it says celibacy in it. I wanted to talk about celibacy on this channel a bit more than what I have been in the past, even though I talk about it all the time. But I wanted to explain that if you have had many sexual partners, it's okay. Okay, you're not broken. Everything's fine. You're wonderful. You're amazing. You're highly valuable. But it's got to stop. Okay, you've dug yourself a grave, meaning you've created debt for yourself that in many ways needs to be paid back somehow. How do you pay it back? Well, by not digging any further. Okay, if you have more sexual partners, you're digging further into your own grave, your relationship grave. That's not good. If you can actually do the things that are necessary in order for you to live celibacy right now, you're literally paying down that debt over time. That makes sense. Like, it's an allegory, but I hope you understand what I mean, because that, just knowing that you're actually celibate, and he's going to obviously tell that women lie about it and all that stuff, but you're not going to do that as a woman. Okay? When guys say that women lie, and women, they're bullshitting when they're saying that they're celibate, and they're actually sleeping with other dudes, blah, 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 and they're just saying it to you. Yeah, of course women say that, but let that not be you after you've seen this video. Okay? Let's build in some systems and structures and consistencies in your life that cause you to not be put in front of men who use you for those short-term purposes and dispense of you afterwards. Because that's a recipe for disaster, for loneliness, for sadness, and all the other crap that happens. Celibacy gives you the ticket to actually return home safely to your happiness. Okay? And that's what I want more than anything else for women these days: celibacy. That's it. Okay? Or at least that's the beginning. That's the most important foundation. Just like I teach guys celibacy, but semen retention, for women, it's celibacy. That's what's going to create the foundation for a lifelong happy life. Trust me on this. Let's keep going.
You got 3 reasons why a woman would say I'm celibate, all right, or withhold sex. She's either a reformed whore, all right. That means that she done fucked around and seen it ain't got her nowhere. And so now she's trying to rebrand her pussy or whatever and trying to put it back on the market as a new Cadillac or something instead of the old rundown Honda, all right. She picked you as a beta male for whatever reason, all right.
Okay, so number one, it's nasty what he's saying. It's horrible. We hate the guy for saying it, okay? He's just ignorant, but I understand how you feel. But take no notice of that. Because if you're going to take notice of that, this is just basically a man who has low self-esteem, low value, who has to tear other people down in order for him to feel high value. Does that make sense? A lot of guys are doing that these days, and that's basically what they're being taught in the player, communities. They're basically taught that, just tear her down. If you tear her down, that means that she's going to feel like she is lower value than you, which means that you're now high value, which means that now she's going to be attracted to you and look up to you. Short term, unfortunately, it works on women, okay? But long term, it doesn't work at all. And it creates difficult relationships, and the woman suffers in terms of her self-esteem because of the way that she's been treated. Because she's not supposed to be treated like that at all. Does that make sense? So pay no attention to what he says there. Just listen to what I'm saying about stay celibate. What else are you to do? Okay? He's not giving any solutions to them. He's just basically saying that women have to change. Well, how are they going to change? Well, what do you expect them to do? Celibacy is a good start, dude. How about you just say, I wish that more women would be celibate. That would actually help them and be more feminine and prepare themselves for a man in their future. That's not how he's talking. He's talking about, like, rebrand. Did you get what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. I hope that you're appreciating the things that I'm saying here. If you do, make sure you share this with someone else and commit yourself in a community of women who are celibate together, okay? Let's just do this journey together, okay? Let's be celibate for a year, for 2 years, okay? Let's prepare for our future man of high value whom we have not met yet, and be prepared for him, right? Let's do that.
She's pegging for whatever. Maybe you said some this, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you got a good job. She's pegging you as a beta male provider. All right, you did something, or maybe she's just assuming that you're a beta male. All right, and the last one is this woman.
So number two, she's basically, it's that a woman, oh, this guy can provide. That's nice. I just want a provider, and I don't really, like, he's a friend, you know, but I don't, I'm not really that attracted to him. That happens too, where they just basically use their sexuality in order for them to have cash and have the ability to, you know, do what they want to do and get their freedom. I just have to do some things for him and then I got cash. That's not a very good way to go about it, right? So, yeah.
Like, so, listen, guys, and y'all see it with Khloe Kardashian and them. Y'all see how many men she done been with over the years. This is what happened to women. When you see these girls and you go on these dates with these girls on dating apps and shit like this here, and they going out and they dating 10, 15 guys. So in the end of the year, this girl done slept with 15 dudes, ain't now one of them ask her for a relationship, all right? So it's the same thing with you guys. If you go out with a whole bunch of women and you spend a whole bunch of money on dates, but you ain't getting no ass, what you gonna start doing? Well, you gonna start taking my fucking advice and start taking these bitches to a fucking shitty pub, all right? Well, the same thing happened with the women on the other side. If they going out and they keep dating these dudes, and they fucking these dudes, but ain't no relationship coming at the end of that rainbow after all that ass giving up, well, now the only thing she's forced to do is withhold her sex until she get what she want, which is...
You see this? That's a losing strategy. You have sex with the guy first and then you withhold sex. Like, see, obviously that wouldn't work, but obviously, why should that guy desire sex in the first place? Yes, there needs to be attraction, but he needs to control his sexual urges. Like, if he cannot control his sexual urges, he should be tossed to the curb immediately, because that's a huge telltale sign that there's problems ahead, okay? That he's a cheater, or that he's gonna do this in the future, or that he's not gonna be, you know, loyal and all that stuff when all the kids come and the family is beginning to be established and you're, you know, and there's issues, you know, like you need a guy who's not hypersexualized. In many ways, you need a guy who practices SR, but who practices SR and is a man of high value, because there's also guys that are like this who practice SR because they think that, you know, make sure you subscribe to this channel. It's crucially important for your future happiness. I'm serious. Really. Because there is a path, there is a system, there is a way for you to actually get all the happiness in life that you desire. But it's a specific system, and it requires you to change your thinking quite a lot. But that's okay, right? I mean, what are you not willing to do for true love, true joy, true happiness, true bliss? And getting a man of high value who's a man of truth and integrity. Wow. Like, imagine the life that you'll have. It's going to be amazing. But unfortunately, because of the world that how it is right now, and no one helping you to find the right guy, you got to put in some effort to apply the principles that are taught on this specific channel. And it's going to be a difficult road, but this is what I want you to spend your masculinity on. If you're going to be disciplined in an area of life, let it be the preparation towards a man of high value. Because that investment, okay, of money and time in being the correct woman for him is going to pay itself off 100,000 times X over. Do you understand what I mean? Like, having a job, no offense to having a job, and you need to have a job, but that's just going to give you money now. That's not an investment that's going to pay you tons of money down the road. Having a man of high value is the best passive income a woman can have. And you guys know that, you know, if you have a right man. I was saying something earlier in the video about conditional love and unconditional love. I was saying that the man it's reasonable for him to have conditional love before he commits to you, right? But you don't give him sex at all and you make sure that, you know, you study who he is, and you get your whole network to approve that this is the right guy. You know what I mean? He needs a stamp of approval from multiple people who have your best interests, so that you don't just follow your heart and get betrayed by your heart. You also need to have some rational thinking in there, and that's what you need the other people for, because you're not going to use rational thinking when you're selecting a boyfriend or a future husband or a future man. So he's going to be conditional. However, once he commits, his love must be unconditional. There is no exception to the rule to that one. A man's love must be unconditional once he's committed. Because once he's committed for life, there is nothing else. Why? Because we're talking about family. We're talking about kids. We're talking about learning. If a man dispenses of a woman because of things that she does, or things that she says, or things that she threatens with, which happens, then he's feminine, for one, because he's maybe scared, or he feels disrespected, or whatever it is that a man might think. That's his femininity speaking. Okay? Because a masculine man's not going to care much when his woman is giving him a hard time, other than that, man, I haven't figured that out yet. A man of high value never, ever gives up on a relationship, because he sees it as an opportunity to learn. He's in the relationship. This woman is attractive. If she's difficult, that's his problem. There's something wrong with him and the way that he is spending time with her, or not spending time with her, right? He needs to be able to figure out, now my channel is going to help a lot, but he needs to be able to figure out what it is that is needed for your environment as a woman to be optimal. Because if your environment is amazing, you are amazing. Could you agree with me on that? If your environment was amazing, if you could basically like fulfill all those, if I just had this, and if I just had this, and if I just had this, and if I just had this, my life would be absolutely amazing. Right? Wouldn't it? If your life would be amazing, you would be amazing. The only reason why women are not amazing is because their life is not amazing. And their life being amazing is just simply an environmental aspect. Heaven is not a destination, it is an environment. And it can be created right here, right now, in your environment. Okay? Although it does take time, if that makes sense. And how does that differ from you guys? Well, your guys' love is conditional for the rest of your life. Always. That's good. Because if the man really messes up, which he shouldn't do, you should be able to leave. And you should leave. I completely, 100% support women who leave if their man sucks. Why? Because she's wasting time. And this guy's obviously not learning. And, you know, and of course, like if it's small itty bitty things, of course you give him a chance, and you give him multiple chances, 100 chances. But if it's like big things, ooh, no. Sayonara. Anyway, let's go.
It's a relationship. So the first thing you need to know with this, guys, is you always leave, all right? Because essentially, if you agree to that, essentially, see, this is the point when I say women don't know what they want. Essentially, what you're doing is, at that point, you're following her program. So this is why I tell you, when women don't know what she want, she say one thing, but then if you do it, she lose respect for you. So she'll go along with it, but she just know that she ain't gonna have no fucking respect for you. So it'll only get worse.
So he does have a point here that if the man submits to a woman's bargaining chip, meaning her sexuality, and he basically says, okay, we'll do it when you're ready for it, okay? In many ways, that is feminine, to submit to a woman. And this is why women like it when men are bold, unfortunately. Because that basically shows her that he doesn't give you know, about me trying to stop him or trying to say no, okay? Because he knows that if I actually do like him, I want to have sex with him, because that's how women think. But this guy, if he's the leader and he's allowing emotion and his hypersexuality to direct the relationship, it's a recipe for disaster and will always create nuclear issues, you know, a lot of problems throughout life, and it's probably not going to last no matter what anyway. But that's an issue, that's a problem. But you see that if he also submits to a woman, even though he does want sexuality, and the woman says, no, not before we blah, 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 she's the one leading the relationship. We also don't want that either. Do you see what I'm saying here? That is kind of confusing. I understand, because we want men to be leaders and we want women to submit. We got a problem then, because men want sex and they're leading women, and then women are, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Submit, right? No. That's going to cause problems for you as a woman. But this is what the world is doing right now. So what is the solution? Well, the men have to be the ones who set the standard of celibacy. Men have to be the ones who say, sorry, I know you want to have sex with me, but I'm not going to do it before we're committed for life. Before you know for a fact that you want to be with me and only me for the rest of your life. Do you see what I'm saying here? The man, this is why we actually as men have to level up to become better. Because the world is not going to improve if we blame women. If we blame you for all of the problems in the world, feminism is this, feminism is that, oh, socialism is this, socialism is that. The only reason why there's a lot of issues from a male, from a feminine perspective in life, okay? It's just my boys that are gaming. But if you understand that there is a lot of problems when it comes to feminine thinking taking over the world, because if it does continue to take over the world, we're basically sacrificing the long term for the short term right now and that's one of the things that we've done with big government, for example. But men have to improve, because women are going to, take over the world, which shouldn't be a bad thing, but it is. Okay, in terms of making it into a woman's world, but with masculine principles, it's all causing a lot of problems eventually. So men have to rise up and become leaders and to become more powerful than anyone. Okay, we need men of high value, men who become amazing, because women will follow them. And if a man says, I don't want to have sex with you, I don't want to be intimate with you before we're committed for life, that's respect. Yes, it is. It doesn't seem like it's right from a woman's perspective, because she wants to have sex right now. Like, I did this to my wife. Okay, when we got engaged, we made out a few times, and I was a virgin before I got married, and things were progressing intimately in our relationship. And making out that one time, I was just like, you know what? There's 3 weeks left before the wedding. I think it was a month or something like that. 3 weeks before the wedding. How about we don't kiss at all until the wedding? She had a problem with that. Like, I had no problem. I was just like, that's me being disciplined, focused, an amazing man of high value, with integrity, etc., etc. And so we didn't kiss at all for those 3 weeks, and she had a hard time with it, and she was like, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Like, and that kind of caused friction. Like, she didn't expressly say it because she really wanted to get married fast. So but there was obvious things, and she's also told me later that that's how she felt. But so that's kind of how we need to look at it. It's like, but that was good because we didn't do something stupid before the marriage. Right? So I'm just saying that we need men who are the ones who set the standard. But if there is a guy who is pushing for sexuality with you, you don't have any other choice but to get him to submit by saying no, nada, nothing, and actually being truthful about it and not sleeping with someone else that he doesn't know about. Does that make sense? Preferably, you shouldn't be dating at all. What? Am I not supposed to be dating? No, you should not be dating men. Because that's you allowing your heart to make decisions for you and your emotions to make decisions and for him to lead you where he wants you to go. Well, guess what? 99% of men want to lead you to the bedroom. So you cannot date, because then you won't be celibate. So how do you do it? You need your family and friends, your network, to find someone for you that you can select from a list, a short list of people. But that's for another video. Let's finish this up.
And another thing, guys, please believe she's fucking somebody. Alright? If you don't think this girl is fucking somebody, you out your fucking mind. Alright? The problem is, the dude she's fucking, she can't get no relationship qualities out of him. Essentially, that dude has her in the friend zone. Alright? And y'all know what I say about the male friend zone. He ain't giving her none of his non-sexual attention. He just fucking her. Alright? That's the issue with that. So she wants some.
That is absolutely horrible. And those, in my opinion, are the worst people on earth. If you're a man who sleeps with women and do not commit to them, you are one of the worst human beings on planet Earth. No offense, but that's the truth. Literally. Like, you're the terrorist. If I'm talking to men now who do this to women, because yeah. Can we agree that we can blame men for doing what they're doing? Yes, they're doing it ignorantly, but they also know that they're not supposed to be doing that in many ways. Like, society and media maybe have screwed their brains over in terms of believing that, you know, they should be hypersexual, etc., etc. Their mothers haven't taught them, you know, their fathers haven't taught them. But men will get there eventually. But there is a lot of guys out there who you should run away from. And I just wanted to tell you that. If a man ever wants to have sexual relationships with you and be intimate with you, run away, because he doesn't have any good intention for you whatsoever. And you should tell him that. You should send him this video.
Somebody to come along and give her the boyfriend qualities. Alright? That's what she wants. She wants somebody that's gonna take her out for a good time, dinner and shit. Cause he ain't doing it. Alright? Because she's in his friend zone. He look at her as nothing but sex. Alright, guys? So don't do that, don't stoop that, cause if you go along with that, and she'll go along with it, but she loses even more respect for you. Because how high could your sexual market value be if you're going to go for some shit like that? All right? Obviously ain't no women beating your dough down, so she know you have limited options. And what happens when a woman know you have limited options? She treats you like shit. All right? So don't do that, guys. Always walk away. All right? Always. I don't care how big her ass is. I don't care how big her titties is. I don't care how pretty she is. All right? Please believe she's fucking somebody. She's in somebody's friend zone. So what she wants you to do, she want to use you for all the relationship qualities, all the shit that he's supposed to be doing, but he don't do it. He just digging her down.
So you see this? Yes, this was not a very happy video, but this was the truth. This is, you know, you guys are living in a space of time where there's a lot of crap going on and a lot of expectations that you should be, you know, that you need to be masculine, you need to control yourself, and you need to behave a certain way, etc., etc. I'm telling you, you're wonderful. You're wonderful the way you are. In many ways, in terms of being a woman, don't change, okay? And preferably, return to who you were. Return to who you truly are at your basic nature, which is femininity, you know, and being unburdened, and taking and unburdening yourself as much as possible from you know, the responsibilities that you feel you have. Your biggest responsibilities to yourself. So I agree with that. I agree with that aspect of your greatest responsibility is for yourself and your happiness. The question is, how do you get to ultimate joy, bliss, and happiness? Because you can't do that without a man of high value. You really can't. So yes, your responsibility is towards you and your happiness, but also don't believe the myths that you're in, the lies that you're being told about, you know, it's so important that you know, should love yourself and all that. Like, you need others. You need a man, okay? Don't believe that feminist lie, but also understand that there are many things that you can do to prepare yourself for your man of high value and to secure your man of high value, and that's what you're going to learn from this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Let's see. Real Givens. I don't, someone commented here, I don't know who he is. 54-minute video for a 5-minute video. Okay. He says, she says, I don't know who it is, if it's a guy or a girl, but lol, I have been having sex since high school. Is there something wrong with me? So if you're a guy, stop. If you're a girl, stop. It's not that there's something wrong with you, it's just that you're living in a society that's hypersexualized. There's nothing wrong with sex. It's fantastic. But you don't want to be led by a hypersexualized guy who's feminine, which means that he's going to be a now creature and he's not going to be able to control his emotions, including his sexuality. Okay, we got another good question. Thank you guys for sending questions, by the way. And if you guys want to send me videos that you want me to react to, send it to Men of High Value Instagram, @menofhighvalue, and I'll react to those videos. But Maya's asking, what investment should a woman make before her 20s? So the biggest investment that you can make is in yourself. I tell that to guys as well, but that's the most important thing that I can tell to you is to invest in yourself. And that is what you're asking. You're saying, I'm currently 19 years old, trying to unburden myself. Great, fantastic. How do you invest in yourself? Biggest thing is, to be honest, this channel, you won't get this information anywhere else. How do you unburden yourself? Where do you start? Well, number one is your loyalty, okay? Loyalty to your future man of high value. The biggest investment you can make in yourself is to remain celibate until you find your man that is going to commit to you for life. That's the biggest investment you can ever make, and that investment is going to give you massive amounts of returns. Can we start there? Second aspect is understand what this channel truly is all about in terms of the relationship science, the relationship technology, the relationship understanding of this channel. That will give you joy, bliss, and happiness long term, okay? And then it's femininity and your beauty. Those are the four things that are the most important, the ones that I mentioned. And how do you invest in your femininity? Do not choose a career that makes you masculine, that forces you to climb the corporate ladder. That's one of the biggest investments that you can make in yourself, is to decline taking upon your responsibility of becoming, like, for example, a doctor, or becoming a lawyer, or becoming something that requires a lot of investment of time, a lot of investment of money, very often, and a lot of focus and discipline and hard work and all that crap. Because leave that to your man, okay? If you are young and you are, have a low partner count, and you have your life, don't move towards masculinity. Don't go in that direction. Remain in your femininity as much as possible. That's how you unburden yourself. Does that mean that you shouldn't get a job? Of course you should get a job and be able to provide for yourself, but that should just be a form of maintenance in preparation for your future man. Your future man will have money if you're part of this environment that we're creating here with this channel. And a man of high value doesn't need your money. Does that make sense? So if you are working and saving and investing, I can make another video about that if you guys want to. I've made a Bitcoin video for you guys, I think, at some point in time. But if you guys want to hear more about how you can invest in yourself financially, then we can do another video about that another time. Let's see. Wow, I'm going to study law this year. Yeah, that's one of the worst decisions you could ever make as a woman. And I'm serious. And I'm going to tell it to you bluntly because it's massively leading you in the wrong direction. No offense, but that's how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. What do you really want? I have to finish this up. Yes, we're going to go above 1 hour. I don't care. My kid's raging over his game and all that stuff. They're waiting for me to put them to bed. It's like 10:30 at night. Bro, I'm like irresponsible, right? But this video is crucial. This video is important for you guys. And what I want to tell you is that what is most important for you long term, I can make another video about this, but what is most important for you long term? Is it money? Is it power? Is it competition? Because if that is, then yeah, sure, become a man. You know, go towards your law degree, or becoming a doctor, or becoming a billionaire, or whatever it is that you want to become, or becoming an Instagram model, or becoming, do you know what I'm saying? Those things, that type of time and money investment and focus, discipline, and all that stuff, that's going to make you a man, not a woman. It's going to make you a man. What happens when you become a man? If you rewatch this video, you're going to learn about what I say when it comes to chipping away at your emotions, okay? Which means that you're going to eventually become emotionally dead inside. When you're emotionally dead inside, you do things that you regret later, okay? So never, ever move towards masculinity as a woman. Move towards femininity, okay? Do jobs that is expected to be performed by a woman in many ways, because then you'll actually be in contact with your femininity, and you'll be in the correct sphere. But, you know, stick around this channel. I have tons of things to share with you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you got more questions, comment down below after this video is over, because I won't be able to see or stream the live stream texts and comments. So wait for the video to upload properly, and then comment down below with your questions, and I'll answer them, because I always do. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.